From what? Okay, we're gonna start this thing over. We are a mess right now. Okay, here we go. I don't know what channel we're on, but let's see. We are live on YouTube. Here we go. Okay, we are live on YouTube now. So, sorry folks, this is just a little different than normal. And now I want to see if we can get over to, and we can't get onto Facebook at the same time. So that kind of sucks. Um, we're on YouTube, but we can't get onto Facebook. So let me go onto Facebook, and there we go. And what a mess. What a mess. Oops. Bear with me because the show didn't really start yet. So, didn't really start. What is live on YouTube? I'll put this in there. Oh boy, folks. Oh boy. Oh boy. What a mess today. What a mess today. This was the hardest one. See, as I try to expand, you can only really test these things live. So, um, but I kind of started the show, but I'm going to start it over since I had so much trouble getting to it. And we did not. It's a new software we're using, so that's the end of that. And so at least we're on YouTube, I think. You're on, yes, we're on YouTube. How do you like the new logo? The new logo is, I hope this is clear. I don't want to touch anything here. Stream is healthy. New content is low. I don't know what that's all about. So I hope it's clear. Let's see what it looks like. Get rid of that one. And are we on? Yeah, we're on. So we're on. Let me see if that's working because we're going to be going over week 8. And let's see if, nothing is happening. I don't get it. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we're on a different, we're on a different channel. And all right, what a mess this was. That's okay. We're good. But you could see the games we're going to be previewing. We'll be going over. What a mess. Um, uh, so here I am. So hopefully we have some sports gluttons joining us today, and we're going to be going over some, as you can see, the games. This is the upcoming games, and for tonight's show, if we don't have any guests, which I certainly hope we do, we normally have like 5 people. The biggest thing to me last weekend was the total blowouts that went on during the season, and there were some there were some interesting games, and um, let me see. So we had some great games. We had Arizona like just destroying Houston, and I'm not going to do a big recap. I hit 11 of 12 last week, so I was a football pool winner, and uh, and then we're going to preview the upcoming games. But we have tonight's game, which is the Thursday night game, as you can see, Green Bay at Arizona. So, um, I'm sorry we don't have. I'm sorry I don't have my normal guests on tonight to go back and forth with. Maybe I gave them the wrong link. This whole thing is a mess tonight, and this is like a good show. So, tonight's big game is Green Bay, Arizona. Green Bay last week, they played Washington handily, and they are 6-1, and they should be 7-1, 7-0. So it turns out a lot of teams lost week one. I was a victim of week one with the Bills losing to Pittsburgh in a massive upset, and Green Bay got destroyed in week one to the Saints, to New Orleans, 38-3. And that is what I learned from that is week one is a toss up. It's just going to be a toss up. So every year when you pick, you gotta, it's a toss up. You don't know, you got to find that slaughter game of the week. Remember, we're going to go over the slaughter games of the week, the Battle of the Bads. We picked those last week. We certainly were successful with that. And so Green Bay and Arizona, let's just look at the, if it's straight up, if the games are straight up, if the teams are straight up, Green Bay is playing at home and they're solid wherever they went. However, let's look at what they did this season. And I love Green Bay. Like, if you've been watching the show, this is like the fourth show. And Green Bay, and I've showed videos, and tonight I'm not showing any highlights. So the Packers' offensive line, I'm a big fan of offensive lines. I think offensive lines are completely underrated. They're so necessary. That's why when a draft they draft an offensive lineman number one, people are like, well, what are you drafting him for? You need, if you don't have an offensive line, your quarterback is going to be like Chicago, running around the entire game hoping to be able to throw the ball. So Justin Fields, I think the guy's name is. So Green Bay, after losing to New Orleans, they beat Detroit. They scored 35. Then at San Francisco, the 49ers, they beat them by 2, 30-28. So they still scored a lot. Then they beat Pittsburgh. Then they beat a strong Cincinnati, only by 3 though. Then they beat Chicago at Chicago. And then they handled the Wizards. No, not the Wizards. The Washington Skins, I call them. I don't call them the Redskins. I call them the Skins. So uh, that's what I think. I told you, like, they should be the skins and another team should be the shirts. So that way, when they play, they could be the shirts and the skins. And it doesn't matter what skin color you are, just the skins, you know. So everybody has a skin color. No, nobody's colorless. There are, there are no colorless things. Even the sky, like, it's not even solid, but it's blue, right? How is it blue? What are you looking at? We're looking at rays, because colors could be rays too, I guess. Tampa Bay Rays. So, uh, I have no idea what I was just talking about. So Green Bay, um, they handled teams well. Beating Cincinnati was a good win. Losing New Orleans was a bad loss, but we're not going to consider that. That's like, when they do figure skating or gymnastics and they give you the best score and the worst score, you eliminate those. So you killed the Jets. Big deal. Like the local high school community college could kill the Jets. So if you lose to a bad team, you throw that one out. So it's in the middle. Now let's look at Arizona. And again, this is straight up. Before we talk about any injuries or anything like that, Arizona is 7-0. Now, are they a good 7-0 team? If you play all high school teams, you should be 7-0, right? So let's see. Week one, they beat Tennessee, and that was a bad loss for Tennessee because Tennessee is 5-2, and they had two bad losses. They lost to Arizona, and then they played some good. They had some good wins. They beat Seattle only by 3. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They demolished the Chiefs last week. But their bad loss, the Jets. They lost to the Jets, I think, in overtime. Um, but that was just you got to throw that out because Tennessee to me is the most improved team of the season. So uh, uh, yeah, we got some. We're going to talk some injuries. Yep, we're going to talk injuries and um, the game is in Arizona. I hear. Let me see if that's true. Oop, let me see if that's true. Game is in Arizona. Yeah, game is in Arizona, which makes it better for Arizona. However, so let's look at Arizona. Arizona beat Tennessee again. First week, and then Tennessee again is like to me it is one of the strongest teams in the league. Then Arizona beat Minnesota by 1, 34-33 at home. They beat Jacksonville again. You know, did the Jets beat? Let me see. Did the Jets beat Jacksonville? The Jets didn't play Jacksonville. Oh, they're going to at the end of the season. So and then they beat the Rams, which was a good win. They should have demolished the 49ers at home, and they didn't. They only won by a touchdown. They beat a good Cleveland team, and they demolished Houston. So let's now look at the injuries. If straight up, they're two strong teams, but straight up, I give Arizona. I give Arizona the. Here's my 11 of 12 just to prove what we got there. So here's the Packers depth chart. Okay, and we could see Devontae Adams is out. He's out, but his backup, you gotta love this guy, Equanimus St. Brown. Equanimus St. Brown is the backup. Now he hasn't played at all. I guess has a reception, but he's the fill-in. Uh, and then, and he has a great name, right? Equanimus. And then the other wide receiver is out, Green Bay. So even though Aaron Rodgers could have a million people, a lot of time to throw um, to a lot of time to throw, he he has no one to throw to. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. But let's look at um, the let's see. I think we got a lot of we got the defensive depth chart for Green Bay is also in trouble. Their nose tackle uh, is questionable. He may be out, and so you don't even have a defensive. You don't even have a defense against a solid offense. So that could be a major problem. Um, and let's go to the Cardinals uh, um, depth chart. So as you can see, their biggest problem is defense. They are very fortunate. They are very fortunate that that Green Bay, the wide receivers are out, and that's going to be a big problem for Green Bay. Just there's so much reason for them not to win tonight. And could it be a blowout? I don't know if it could be a blowout, but like J.J. Watt is out, and let's look at the defense. You can see the defense. And but I was looking at this guy Douglas. Let me see if I have his oh, this guy. He's the backup. So um, uh, he's the backup, and he's not bad. So their defense is still strong. Uh, this guy is a solid defender, and uh, but they're even though they're linebackers, so there may not be a good pass rush, but there's just nobody. There's nobody to pass to. So uh, that's that. We had a mention of the Jets. So I don't know. Do you think Joe Flacco is going to make any kind of improvement for the Jets? Just the name Joe Flacco. He reminds me. There was another name, a Joe from the Jets years ago. I forgot the guy's name. So uh, um, I am just wondering if the link I sent out wasn't working. So here is so any comment on Joe Flacco from your sports gluttons out there? Um, so I think the Packers are going to go down to Arizona, Arizona, and then Arizona's got a fairly easy schedule for the next like 5 weeks. They play San Francisco, Carolina, Seattle, then they have a bye, then Chicago before they play the Rams, then Detroit, the Colts, the Cowboys, and I mean, it's possible two losses in their future for Arizona. They could go, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1, 13, 1, 14, 1. They can go 15 and 2. 17 games they added, you know. And then Green Bay, they have a pretty easy schedule too. So anyway, I'm going to take a quick 5 minute break here. Not a break, 2 minute break. I'm gonna take a 2 minute break, and I will be right back. Alrighty, alrighty, here we go. We're back. I want to talk a little TV action. I want to talk about TV, and this, you know, I worked in television a long time. I might even know what I'm doing more than a lot of people. To tell you the truth. So I'm watching the part of the Monday night football game, and I'm going to show you a clip. This They were into a story, uh, and then some action happened, and they went back to the story rather than showing the replays. This is when producers, which I believe a lot of people in television get their jobs through attrition. Somebody leaves and somebody works at the network, and it's just a natural move up. It's not like they're hired from outside. If someone's hired from outside, it's obviously more kudos for them to be hired from outside and brought into a network. But when inside the network, people just have to move up because somebody leaves the position. So the producer of the Monday Night Football game, to me, is a little inflexible, or uh, and unfortunately, I'm not showing you the Monday Night Football feed. I'm showing you a different feed. So let's cut over to this, and I'm going to show you if I could get it started. I'm going to show you. This was they were talking. Ignore the guys on the side. I want to show you the play. All right, now watch this play. Watch the play. That's not working. Why are you working? Okay, let me reload it. Let me reload it. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now we're gonna do it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Now watch the play. Now I thought this was amazing. Amazing. Bam! What a flip. What a flip. So before that play, they were talking about, I don't know, the quarterback, or they were into some story. They were showing a guy on the sideline. I don't know. They showed a clip or something. So normally, it's just a normal play, and it's a normal play, and you can go back to the story. But when there's an extraordinary play, especially a visual, television is visual, right? The movies are visual. Radio is audio. That's why people need to talk well. And the visual of this play is so cool, where a guy gets flipped. So what happened was, I'm waiting for the replay of that, and look, see, they take them off, but I'm waiting for the replay. And they go back to the story. They go back to the story, totally ignore the great flip. It wasn't like a guy ran up the middle and was tackled. The guy flipped, I mean, he flipped like, like, how cool is this? He flips, almost lands on his head, and they don't go to the replay at all. They don't go at all to the replay. So it's like a forgotten play, and it's one of the coolest plays, probably coolest tackles I've seen in a while. Then I forgot to play after. I don't know, it was like a long pass interference or something that was a little disputed. And what do? They go back to the other story. You could wait to go to the other story when you've got really cool things going on in the game. But they get so stuck in their head on what to do. I think the directing was great. I think the directing of the game was really good. The producing, as I've seen in so many instances, was so bad. So that's all. I just wanted that was a little TV stuff. That was a little TV stuff, and it was a little annoying to me. So, um, all right, we're gonna talk a little bit more. We're gonna preview another game, and let's see. Let's see. I hope people are still on, and Joe Namath, no. Okay, so no, Joe Namath was not the name I was looking for. Joe Clacko. Clacko. That was a name. Joe Clacko. That's what I was looking for. So, um, let's see what else. I'm really, I'm surprised nobody came on. This is the best show with I had a lot to talk about, and usually when people talk, I'm able to like gather, get ready for the other stuff. So, unless I don't see them, maybe they're on and I don't see them. Nope. Nope. Oh, you know what? What is this? Let me see something. Let me see something. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are people on. Oh my God. How long? There are people on. I am so sorry.
We've been on here since 4:30.
Yeah, we've been on since 4:30.
You know what? Look how many people are on. I'm so glad that all you guys are on. So wait a second. This is fantastic. You know what? I was such a mess today because I was trying to get YouTube on and it didn't work. And you guys are the best. You guys are the best. There you all are. Who's that guy in the middle? I gotta get him out of there. Wait a second. That's me. I gotta get him out of there. All right. Oh, this is so good. So you've been listening to the show then, right?
No, we've been talking.
We've been talking this whole time.
We've been talking the whole time, giving our picks.
You hit record and go, if you hit record, we got some great things that we've said.
Oh my God. Yeah. Have you heard anything I did?
No.
No.
Oh, we were wondering where you were. We're like, where is he?
You missed such a good show.
Yeah.
You missed such a good show. So I am so glad that you guys are on. And so I'm just going to recap a little bit, and then you guys could talk about what you were going to talk about. I was talking about tonight's game and the Arizona Green Bay game and how I was throwing depth charts and we're talking about Arizona, and you guys could chime in on any of this. So Arizona, because that's the early game, and Arizona, Green Bay. Green Bay is a really good team, and I went over their schedule and how they beat a lot of teams. Well, that's a weird noise we have here. Let me see something. I want to make sure we got okay. So Arizona, do you hear that noise? You hear that weird noise? Or no? Well, that's me. Okay, good. Okay, good. So Arizona, that's what we're going to talk about before we go into Arizona destroyed Houston, and Green Bay beat Washington. So let's hear your thoughts on. Why don't we go down the line? Do you all have thoughts on tonight's game, and then we can move on to some other stuff. Anybody?
Well, Remy,
are we taking straight up winners, or are we going against the spread?
Give those statistics, Remy. You just.
Yeah, that was good.
When we first came on, I said that since 2020 and since drafting Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers is 8-0 on prime time with a 26 touchdown to 1 interception ratio.
Well, here's the problem, Remy. Here's the problem is that Green Bay's got 2 receivers that are out.
I know.
That probably won't start. And I put in, I thought it was kind of cool that the backup for their main guy is this guy.
But then also listen, they're 6-0 without Devontae Adams. So not having Devontae Adams might not be that big of a deal because he's still 6-0 in prime time without him when he was hurt before.
Right. And here's the other thing, though. The depth chart, if you look at the defense, they got three other major guys out. So their defense won't be present. And Arizona playing at home is just very strong. And I think Arizona's got J.J. Watt's out, but their backup has played a lot. And his backup has played a lot. And let me see if this is the guy.
While you're looking for that,
Michael.
I was wondering whether Green Bay can stop the run. If either one of those teams can stop the run, I think will be so big tonight. Because if Arizona can't stop the run, they keep the ball out of Kyler Murray's hands, which, minimizing the time that the ball is in his hands tonight could be really big for Green Bay.
Yeah, so you think that the run is going to play an important part of the game, right?
For Green Bay, in the sense that the more
Yeah.
they can hold on to the ball, the less time that their defense has to go up against Kyler Murray. Because in a shootout, I just don't see how Green Bay can win in a shootout.
Yeah, I don't see Green Bay winning. I think Arizona is Arizona's they just have too much going for them, and there's too many injuries on Green Bay. So Rick, let's see
Yeah.
Rick's picks. Rick, I had last week I had 11 of 12. I won my football pool, and Rick's picks. What did you have last week? Because we
What?
didn't see you on the show. So, Rick, what did you?
Oh man, let me see. I went 2 of 3. I lost with Kansas City, but I covered with the Lions and the points, and so another team I'd have to look back on who I had, but I was 2 out of 3. But I remember backing Kansas City and taking it on the chin because I never seen them look so bad in a game in about 2.5 years. That's what I remember most. Oh yeah, I had the Bengals in that game against Baltimore. So that was my second pick, and I'm going to go with the Bengals again this week. But going back to this Green Bay Arizona game, I don't really have a side here. I'm just with the 3 wide receivers out. I'm scared to take Green Bay. I haven't been a big Arizona backer. I think their record is better than they are, but we'll find out. I just don't see Arizona being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I would bet against them being that team right now.
Do you have who thinks Arizona? Like who would? I think Arizona. Is Tennessee in the NFC? I don't even know.
No, they're in the AFC.
AFC.
You got to
Yeah, I
get
think-
through the Rams.
Yeah.
You got to get through Tampa Bay. You got to get through Green Bay
And the Rams.
and
And the
Rams,
Cowboys.
the Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah.
If they have Dak, we don't know if Dak's going to play this weekend.
I was looking at Tampa Bay. And I was a little surprised that their schedule, they beat Dallas by 2. That was a big win. They beat Atlanta. They blew them out 48-25. They lost to the Rams. They beat New England only by 2. They handled Miami. They beat Philly only by 6, and they destroyed Chicago. And they should beat New Orleans. But I think if there was an upset game, I would think this is going to be the upset game of the week, and I'll tell you why. New Orleans, they beat They beat Green Bay in game 1, but that was a blowout. This is what you missed. What I said. There were some bad losses by teams, and most of them were week 1 and 2. So Buffalo lost to Pittsburgh in week 1. Cincinnati lost to the Bears in week 2. Green Bay lost to New Orleans in week 1, and Tennessee lost to the Jets week 4, though. But in the week 1s, so New Orleans, they lost to Carolina, which is a friggin' horrible team. They lost to the Patriots. I mean, they beat the Patriots, which was a good win. They lost to the Giants, which was bad. They beat Washington, and they beat Seattle. And Tampa Bay, I just don't think that – I don't know. I don't think they're as strong as what people may think. I think they're a little disappointing. So,
when you read the teams and the scores back, yeah, I could see your point. The teams they beat aren't the best. That's for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I could see.
This
your
is
point,
my. I did a whole little. Like I got the whole. It's hard to read, but the whole teams versus everybody there. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. To analyze this. So. Tim, how's it going? How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, good. Got over COVID. My wife and I. So I'm back in the saddle. Looking forward to the game tonight. We're headed after this to a sports bar to watch the the Cardinals-Packers thing. And I don't know. I think Vance Joseph has their defense playing really well. And that guy that you pulled up, Michael Dogby, he's an interesting case. He was a 6th rounder out of Temple, and he's been on the practice squad a couple of years. But he is killed in the preseason. He looks he's been a really great pass rusher, but his problem has been playing the run. And this year he actually, and they would put him on the practice squad, he wouldn't even make the team. Well, this year I think he worked with the coaches and he's really improved on the run, but he always had a really good pass rush. So I don't know if that'll translate to a couple of sacks in tonight's game, but it'll be interesting because he's really a guy, you know, one of those late round guy, 7th round even, that they put him on the practice squad for a few years, and he's really made something out of himself. So it's
yeah, well, he seems to have played. You know, he seems to not. He's not like been on the sidelines. He's been out there.
Yeah.
So and especially with Green Bay's injuries, I think Green Bay's injuries versus the Cardinals' injuries, Arizona's just they have this game, and I'm a fan of Green Bay. I just don't think, you know, Aaron Rodgers could, like I talk about, he has so much time in the pocket, but he's going to have no one to throw to because the people that are replacing his receivers are not, they're just not, they haven't been playing at all. So I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, plus the short week doesn't help them. And I think on a short week, the home team always has the advantage here, and you got a good home team. I mean, I'm not going to bet the game, but I would take Arizona straight up, definitely in this one.
Yeah.
I love the narrative that the NFL got this week too. It's the biggest Thursday night football game ever, which is 9 years old, and it's the first time they've ever had a combined 13-1 regular season record. Well, of course, regular season, but you know, going into a Thursday night game. Yeah. So a low bar to surpass, but they are looking at it as the biggest Thursday night football game ever.
Oh, I think it's a great game. I think tonight. Well, it probably would have been a better game if the teams weren't injured. So you would have more solid. You know, it's like at least the quarterbacks are starting, but other than that, you know,
you get that narrative of the Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, of course it's big that the other players are out, but again, just for the kind of narrative surrounding the game.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Yeah, Kyler got beat up pretty bad against Houston, surprisingly. But I think he'll be okay. But the line, they really, I think it's Josh Jones, the guy who's the right guard. He got killed the entire game, and the press is making a big deal about it. So if he's got any pride, that could, he's played well up until that game. So but their line did not play all that great against Houston. They finally kind of turned it on in the second half and got some running going, but they have not played that well. The big thing is that defense. Vance got guys. There are no real stars, but each individual guy has been making plays. It really is a team defense and kind of a no-name defense, and that they don't have like a single star. Really, they've got some good players, but not lights out type guys.
So you're feeling good about Arizona tonight, right? You're feeling an 8-0 team there.
I see them winning, but very close, like a field goal at the last minute or something like that.
Wow, so you would cover the spread with that 6.5 if you were to bet. Now, speaking of schedule makers being nice, what about the Rams? They got Detroit last week, and now they get Houston. Wow, talk about being nice.
And then they get hammered with Tennessee.
They have them after that.
They got Tennessee after that, then San Francisco, then a bye, then Green Bay, then Jacksonville. They get rest. Then they got Arizona. So they look at what Arizona's got after this. They got the 49ers, and then the Panthers, and then the Seahawks, and then the Bears. So they got then the
not
Rams, and then the Lions. So they got a sweep.
Will Russell be back though for that game? Will Russell be back then for that
I
game?
don't know.
I think he's
he
trending
might be
week
back.
10. Week 10, they said.
That's week 10, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But it's hard to figure out what San Francisco is. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell if they're good or bad.
Yeah,
They're in between for sure, but
Yeah.
that is an easy schedule the Rams have, although it could come back to haunt them in the playoffs if they won't be playoff ready. But playing the Packers, they might see the Packers in the playoffs.
I think San Francisco, from what I watched that game, I watched part of it, Indy, San Francisco, and that San Francisco, to me, they showed how bad they really are this year, because Indianapolis is a horror show. Even though they won, Carson Wentz, to me, could be the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
No.
No.
Remy, what do you think? What was that?
I don't think so. He showed what he could. He had 2 sprained ankles in the beginning of the season, and he looked like the Carson Wentz. Don't forget, Carson Wentz got them to the playoffs. Then he went out, and then Foles won.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
He looked like that guy. Like, I don't think he's the worst starting quarterback. I think they're worse.
No, he's not the worst at all. But
I'm with Remy.
I sent out a tweet that said, when Wentz finds the open man, he's often on the other team. And then because then he just leaned over and tossed the ball to the guy.
Well, they said it slipped out of his hands because it was so wet. They're saying
they were playing in the rain, so
it was actually a fumble. It was they ruled it a fumble at the end because there was a hand chipped it out of his hand. And in those downpour games, it's hard to take a lot out of a game where it's just complete. Because you saw Jimmy Garoppolo just throwing the ball and it was slipping out of his hand, and they're trying to throw it real gingerly. It's so hard to take anything of meaning out of a downpour rain game.
Hey, there's a game you guys haven't mentioned yet. That's the Patriots-Chargers, and after the Patriots' big kill last weekend, I think that's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, hang on, though. We'll get to that. Hang on. So,
okay.
Carson Wentz, though, this is what I looked at, is he had a 40-yard pass interception. Then the other team fumbled. A 19-yard pass interception led to TD. A 38-yard pass interception led to TD. And he passed for 150 yards, and he's lucky that the secondary for Indianapolis, for San Francisco, is so bad. They had 97 yards on pass interference. That's how they got downfield. They were 3 pass interference. Without those, he wouldn't have even scored. They wouldn't have won. They should have lost that game.
Wow.
So,
that information is good because, before you jumped on, Eric was telling me Circle Tennessee on the road against Indy. And I think that's our game, man. I think, if Tennessee controls the game and the ball and Derrick Henry's doing his thing, I see a cover here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, San Francisco versus
No. Eric was telling me earlier, we were talking who does he like, who do we like, and he said Circle Tennessee against Indianapolis. And now that you just laid those facts, I think that's a real good game to bet.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Tennessee is a superstar team that they had one bad loss against
the Jets, right? Wow.
And you know what? That was in overtime, I think they lost that. And it was just a bad loss. And they lost to Arizona in week 1. And like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard that part, is week 1 is a toss-up. Week 1 could go either way with anybody because even Green Bay lost. They got demolished, as I said earlier.
By New Orleans.
By New Orleans.
Yeah.
So week 1 is so Tennessee beat Seattle by 3. They beat Indianapolis. They beat Jacksonville, which, kind of a weak schedule, but then they beat Buffalo and they demolished the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And Baltimore.
It's the Raiders or the Tennessee, in my opinion, for the AFC.
Tennessee
or the Raiders or maybe the Bills.
I think the Raiders are hard.
I don't see the Raiders. I would bet $100,000 that they don't make it to the Super Bowl right now. If I had $100,000.
They'll be in the
If I had
playoffs.
$100,000.
I think they'll be in the playoffs.
Well, Bills and
Yeah, I
Ravens.
see 'em in the
for sure.
playoffs.
If I had
Bills and, Titans.
$100,000 to bet, I'd be off on a trip somewhere.
Well, no, let's just say like you had $100,000 and you were able to get, say, the bet against the Raiders making the Super Bowl. I think that would be a safe 100. I think you'd get your money back on that. At least. I don't see it now. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that actually, but I do think that it's I thought it was the Ravens. I thought it was the Ravens, but every week someone beats the top team, so I'd have to give Tennessee the edge right now over any team.
Because I thought it was Buffalo in the AFC. I like them the best, and I still do. Even though they lost.
Depends on the defense.
Well, I like
their
the Chargers,
defense can hold up,
but their defense isn't looking too good either, or their offense.
They can't stop the run.
The Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers, I think, are.
They've been off the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are. Here's what I see with the Chargers. So they beat Washington, lost to Dallas, beat Kansas City by 6 only. It was 30-24. Beat the Raiders, beat Cleveland, but their defense, they gave up 42 points in that win, and then they lost to the Ravens. So I'm picking the Patriots over the Chargers this week, even though the Chargers are playing at home.
I think that's an excellent bet. The Patriots are all riding high after that huge killing. Must give Mac Jones a lot of confidence.
Mark my words. I'm going to go against you guys. There's no chance New England wins that game. No chance. And I'm not just saying it as because I'm a Charger fan. I don't see New England. The Chargers are a lot better than New England. I don't see it.
I'm very low.
Dallas. They should have beat Dallas, but he had 2 touchdowns called back
and a couple missed field goals.
Yeah, so they should have beat Dallas.
They should have. We think Dallas is good.
Yep.
And,
Dallas also
betting
came
against
on
the team,
very strong.
Betting against a team like the Chargers after they've been embarrassed too, that's always so. They've had a week and a half to stew over that embarrassing loss to Baltimore, and that's
Absolutely.
always. And they're at home. I mean, that's worrisome.
Don't forget, their home is never really home. I would expect half the fans being New England fans somehow.
Yeah.
A lot of New England fans in LA.
A lot. And it'll be a 50-50 split because they never fully have the stadium to themselves. It's not like when you go to Seattle or you go to Kansas City or even, Green Bay, obviously. It's pretty pathetic, actually, that how they're almost always a road team. But maybe that makes you better down the line. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be moving in their new stadium at some point.
I didn't know they had a stadium.
Yeah,
I think
They
this
don't?
is their no.
This is their stadium?
No, they share it with the Rams.
It's like the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like the Jets and the Giants. Yeah,
that was the
Well, you know
reason
what-
for
you know what
moving.
I'm thinking of the Clippers getting a new arena.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, they are.
That's what I'm thinking about. And what were we talking about before? We were talking about Wentz with Indianapolis. I was looking at this is why I also don't like Indianapolis. I think their coaching staff, there were so many drop passes, their coaching staff has switched around. And I was watching their play calling, even if it was raining, they had like so many swing passes with 2nd and 7 or 3rd and 7. I just don't see Indianapolis, but that's the end of them. And so the Bears and the 49ers, though, I think that's who's playing. Yeah. What do you think about that game?
I like the 49ers. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I'm not going to tell you why. I just have that feeling. So.
Yeah,
the Bears have no offensive line whatsoever. I mean, Justin Fields is he got creamed one play, and I was surprised that they didn't buzz down from the concussion protocol guy in the sky. He laid on the ground like a chalk outline at a crime scene, and his helmet was askew, and he didn't move for like a minute. Yeah. And then suddenly his teammates helped him up, and they snapped the ball, and I'm thinking, man, if he gets creamed like that week to week, not good.
No.
What's Joey Bosa going to do?
Yeah, that line is terrible. He's running around. This was a cool tweet, and just looked horrible. But when did he come in? Didn't I was thinking that is Nagy their coach?
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking that if Justin Fields keeps throwing interceptions the way he did, will Nagy give up his ego? You know, these jock egos, and will he put Andy Dalton back in? At least he's got experience, or is he just going to let this kid get demolished? Because if he keeps this guy in, then Nagy should be fired because this kid can't perform.
They were saying that if he didn't put him in, he was going to get fired.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
they needed to let him
above his pay grade will decide, and he'll just follow. But he should have been fired a long time ago. You know, the Belichick coaching tree sucks. Actually, it's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Even
the Patricia, whoever that guy on the Lions was, and the guy that's the New York Jets coach is from Belichick.
You mean the Giants?
Coaching tree doesn't suck. Bill Parcells, because he came from Bill Parcells, and so did Sean Payton and all those other good guys. So.
Well, going back to this,
the Giants. You guys, I have to take off. I have to go. It was good to see you guys.
Bye. Going back to this Bears game.
Remy, you want to? Remy's gone. There she goes.
Going back to this Bears game, it would be impossible for anybody who's taking their hard-earned green dollars to back the Bears. Like
that's just why I think they may cover. It seems so obvious, and the last couple of weeks have been kind of obvious that it is in Chicago. Who knows how bad the weather is? And, you know, maybe it will be 3 points. A lot of games are 3 points or less now, but they've got 4 points. So I would not take the Niners.
I
wouldn't take the Bears. I'd stay with
upset of the week. I think the Bears are going to win. That's just my upset of the week.
And I think the Lions might win this week, too. They're playing
Philly.
Yeah, Philly at home.
Yeah, I don't like Philly either. The Lions, as bad as their record is, they've showed a little heart. I'll give them credit. They showed a little.
I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jared Goff. It's like going to Detroit. It's like going to Siberia.
And he's had a lot of close games, but I don't feel bad. He's got $100 million guaranteed. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. But listen,
every team that's been bad like that, I got a theory. Tampa Bay had the pirate that looked like he was on Captain Morgan on their helmets. They changed their helmets. They won 2 Super Bowls. Detroit needs to change their helmets. That's the mojo. The lion looks, you know, he's kind of this staid lion. He doesn't look ferocious or anything.
Right.
They need new helmets.
Oh,
that will
I
get
love
rid
their
of
colors.
the bad mojo.
You know, that reminds me of when you said Tampa Bay, because when I was in school, I started at University of South Florida in Tampa, and the Giants were coming down to play the Bucks. They were playing this was at Raymond Stadium or something. It was a long time ago.
Raymond James.
And it was a cool stadium. And so the Giants are coming down, and we get these student tickets for $5. And I'm thinking the Giants always sell out. So me and a friend of mine bought like 20 tickets, and we went to scalp them. And we got to the game, and it started pouring. And nobody showed up.
That sucks.
Ate that. And then and then I went to they had a Pro Bowl there that year, and this is when I lost like my desire of fanship at that point. The punter I don't know if I told the story, the punter from the Giants was in the Pro Bowl, and it was like fan day, and I went over, I said, hey, I'm from New York, and he goes, I don't live there. I only play there. And I'm like, oh, there's a way to like kill a kid's feelings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks, guys. I have to pull out, but I will leave you with the 3 picks that I'm going to play. I'm going to go with Cincinnati minus the 9.5. I'm going to go with Buffalo minus 14, which is a lot, but the Dolphins have lost 6 straight. They're trying to get rid of their quarterback. I think they're in disarray. And I'm going to go with this Tennessee pick because why not? We've talked about it. I like how you broke down the teams how Indianapolis, who they beat. I like the 97 yards on penalties. So I'm going to go with Tennessee. Those are the 3 games.
So you're taking Buffalo giving
14 points.
Because who is Dawson Knox there? He's their tight end.
Yeah,
he's
but
out, I think.
yeah, his hand is broken. He's not playing.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
not
out
playing.
for the season. Yeah,
he's not playing, and the replacement is this guy who I think he doesn't play. So
He hasn't played much. Tom, yeah, he's from Boston College. But you know what? He can play. He's not a bad player, and he got in. And Josh Allen, if you're open, Josh Allen's going to throw it to you. And I have a feeling this kid is going to be the one that they ignore on the field and might scoot out for a couple of big plays.
Yeah, that's not bad. He was on when they had the draft. He was listed as one of the best college tight ends, from what I remember. He was up there with.
I think the question there is, does he get the Dawson Knox
treatment?
Catches? You know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, is he going to be able to slide in and get those catches? And I think he looked pretty good when I've seen him play. So you never know.
Oh, you know, Buffalo played Miami the second game of the season. They beat them 35-0 at Miami.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're both in the East. So this is their second game. Yeah, I think Buffalo. I think you're safe with that.
35-0. I don't even remember that so long ago, but now I kind of remember the game. It was like, I mean, that's when Buffalo's defense was actually playing pretty strong. That, you know, obviously they shut them out, but they haven't been as good. But I don't see Miami putting up more than 17 points, but Buffalo's going to probably get to 35-40 again here. So
yeah, Buffalo Buffalo is so strong. I mean, they lost to Tennessee, but
they could have won. They were right there.
Yeah.
Oh, here, because I said this earlier. You because I wasn't on. Was like a team that wins or loses. It's like gymnastics and Rick, I know you got to go. It's like gymnastics or figure skating. The high low of the game of the score. You just got to throw them out. So they lost one game to Tennessee, but you know, you throw it out, and overall, how are they? And Buffalo, even though they lost to Tennessee, overall they're a good team. They're a great team. So I think that's a good bet. All
right, enjoy the games. See everybody later.
Rick, good to see you.
Log off too. Bye guys. I got to log off too.
All righty, it's me. All right, me and Casey, you'll be there. Eric, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, well, let me see if I get us together here.
Then there were two.
Then there were two. So you know what? I want to do something because I know you like television stuff, and I want to get your and I know the other game is going to start, and let's see. I want to see if I could. Yeah, I want to see. So I was watching. Did you watch the Monday Night Football game with New Orleans and Seattle?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so here's a little TV stuff because I know you like TV stuff, and this bothered me. So they were in a story. The announcers were in a story. I forgot what they were talking about, but they were on the sideline. I don't know if they were talking about the Saints quarterback or maybe Drew Brees or somebody. I don't even know. So this play happened, and I hope it plays. This play happened. And I love the way that he, like that whole flip. I just love that play, right?
Great visual.
Right, great visual, and that's what I was talking about earlier. So, and then what they did is I'm waiting for the replay. I'm thinking, oh, they'll show it in slow motion, different angles. And they go back to the other story, and they totally forget about this play. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to see that in slow motion or something. I don't care about the story. And so the directing was going to show, but these producers get caught up on this story. And instead of going with the right move, with like it was a flow chart, say, oh, you know, we could get back to that story, but let's go to this play that is so cool that, you know, how often does a guy get flipped and almost, land on his head, you know
what it is? Sometimes they have their pregame, prepackaged stuff like that, you know, where they know we're going to do this sideline interview. Like, I'll give you an analogous situation. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching hockey, and Wayne Gretzky has joined the in-studio analysis team. So they bring on during the game. I can't remember what game it was, but they bring on, the announcers have Wayne Gretzky from the studio. and they're asking him questions, and talking to him. Meanwhile, on the ice, there's like 3 goals scored in like a minute and a half. And Wayne is just, because he's not watching the game, he's talking to them. He's just chattering away. And the whole momentum of the game is changing and switching because of these 3 goals in like a minute and a half.
Right.
And I'm thinking, producer, director, whichever one makes that decision, just think to yourselves, you know what? Hey, guys, we can get back to Wayne. We'll do that in a minute. Let's not miss this, minute and a half of action. But they went past it, and it's that kind of thing. Was when they have their prepackaged, things they're going to do and their rundown. I'm with you. Sometimes you just got to say, wait a second, we can put this off for a little bit. We control this.
Right. I mean, I've been in the trucks for a long time, and I've done big shows, and the biggest weakness is, and the directors are usually good. Not always, but usually. The producers are the weakest link in sports. It's like after this play, there was either there was a long pass interference or something that could have been replayed, and again they went back to the story, and they could have held the story. They could have, and these guys, and this is a new Monday Night Football production team. The directing is good, but these producers, like I said earlier, so if people heard it, I'm repeating it. It's called attrition. And if one guy leaves and they work for a network and they move up and they get the job, it doesn't mean they're worthwhile. And believe me, I've been behind plenty of people that are lucky that they have a job, because the executives know even less than they do, and they're the ones selecting it. So I know, believe me, I know it from experience. So let's see, anything. I'm sorry, like I got your video late, so I wasn't able to even go through it.
That's on me. Don't worry, honey. Like I said, I had technical issues last night, which I fixed, which partially was thanks to you, because I'd done that fix before, so I knew about it, but it reminded me of it. So no worries.
So anyway, so why don't you recap some of the things that you were that you went over?
Sure. Well, I mentioned one already. One of the ones is, some people enjoy snow games and rain games, mud bowls. When there's 2 good teams playing, I despise when the weather conditions are. I know it makes for good TV, but for competition-wise, watching like that San Francisco game, what I really feel like, what can you glean from that game? And so I hate the rain game, the mud bowl. That was one thing. And this weekend, of course, think about it. There was so much rain across the country. There were a lot of crappy games because of the weather. So that's one of my pet peeves, which I know I'm screaming at the weather. So that's not really something anyone can do about. So that was one. We were talking about. I would never bet a game I think Carson Wentz is in, because he's so Jekyll and Hyde, like Jameis Winston. I'd be scared to put my money on any game those guys are playing, because you never know what the hell they're going to do. It could be really bad, or it could be really good. So can you think of more Jekyll and Hyde quarterbacks in the NFL right now than Jameis Winston and Carson Wentz?
Right. You're going to get a good game out of Rodgers and Brady most of the time. But there was a lot of guys like that, Carson Palmer and Mariota. They were just guys that you could not count on at all. And Wentz is just, I tell you, not personally, I don't like him. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. And I think the Colts are a bad team.
You know what, though? I've mentioned this in one of the videos I did, which Carson Wentz has such good ball handling skills. I mean, it's funny, on those play action passes and RPOs, he hides the ball very well. He fooled, on the Monday, whatever night they played, he fooled the camera guys like 3 times because of his play action fakes and his RPOs. That doesn't make him a good quarterback. He's just, because there's some guys, like, who has that too is Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes when he's, doing a play action fake or an RPO kind of thing, they hide the ball so well, that you don't, suddenly the defense is like, where's the ball? Who's got the ball? Which is one of those little skills, that you'd like to see more quarterbacks have.
Yeah. And Well, because I don't think he has passing skills. So so we can get to we want to go watch the game. So let's do a rundown what you think coming up. So Carolina, Atlanta. That's like you have a saying that you do. I forgot what it was. It was like a nobody cares game. Like the Falcons and the Panthers is like a nobody cares game. But I go with, because I'm picking all games. I go with Atlanta on this, and I just think the Panthers are a horror show.
They are harsh. I think my new terminology might be send them to London games.
Yeah, that's your right, because they do not play good games there.
I mean, that real quick on that one. I mean, the coach basically called out Sam Darnold. You know, a lot of people called out Sam Darnold. He's a Jekyll and Hyde too. That's the only chance Carolina has, is if suddenly he just does a Sam Darnold in college game.
All righty. So then we got we went over Miami, Buffalo. We went over San Francisco, Chicago. I think Chicago could win that one. How did you feel about that one?
I wish I knew. That one is more about how do I feel about San Francisco, because I think Chicago is not a good team, but I have no idea how good San Francisco is or is not. That's without Kittle at tight end, that really hurts them. I think that Garoppolo needs a really good tight end, and he doesn't have one right now. So I would not be surprised at a Chicago upset, even regardless of how terrible they are.
Is Garoppolo coming back?
I don't. The thing is Trey Lance. What I've seen of Trey Lance, I'm like, when will he be ready? I mean, is this? I think Garoppolo has a chance to play himself into the job for next year. I don't know what he'll do, but I think he has that opportunity.
Right. All right. So I'm gonna. That's a. Let me get rid of that. So then we got Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I'm a. Let me see where I sit on that one. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I have Cleveland over Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland's just the better team. They beat the mediocre. Cleveland's like the best of the mediocre. I thought they were going to be a better team, but I think Pittsburgh is just, they lost to too many teams, even though they beat Denver and Seattle. But I think Cleveland's the better of the mediocre. So then I'm going to go with them.
I'm with you because Cleveland. You're right. They out talent a lot of teams. So you're right. The mediocre teams and the bad teams, of course, they just via Cleveland's talent and offensive line, they're going to beat them up.
Right. Yeah. So that's where we go there. And then Philadelphia, Detroit, we talked about. I think you went with Detroit also, or I'm going with Detroit over Philly. I think I think this is going to be their first win of the season at home.
Yeah, I think they play hard enough that they're going to win, and why not, at home against Philadelphia.
Tennessee, Indianapolis, we talked about that one. I think Tennessee is just way too strong. Here's one, Cincinnati and the Jets. I mean, that's really like a no-brainer to me. And
yeah, I think that's a big. I think it's a big test for Cincinnati in this regard, living up to the expectations, reading your press clippings. I do think they're going to win, but it'll say a lot about them if they don't.
So what? Maybe like Joe Flacco, is he worth anything?
Oh God, I didn't know Oh boy, he's a statue. That's the problem with him, is he's just a statue. I mean, and I'm trying to think, and Cincinnati on defense is pretty good. And that's a problem. Like Flacco, he's a good quarterback, but in today's game, you can't, even guys like Tom Brady, they slide in the pocket, they move, they get out of some way, He doesn't even do that. And that's what unless he's got an offensive line, which he doesn't if he's in New York, he's in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I agree. Yeah, I think Cincinnati. Rams, Houston, I think that's a blowout game. I don't think the Rams are as good as people think, but because they've had kind of easy schedule. They beat the Bears, the Colts, the Bucks was a tough one. They lost to the good team, the Cardinals. They beat Seattle. They walloped the Giants, and they beat Detroit. That's got to be one of the easiest schedules around.
Yeah, and Stafford, he's good, but he's not like this huge upgrade like everyone's saying he is. I watch sometimes in certain situations, he doesn't hit the pass. He's not as accurate as everyone says he is. He's good. I'm not saying he's a scrub. He's a really good quarterback. But I think because they replaced Jared Goff with him, that everyone just thinks that Stafford is God's gift. But you watch him on some key plays on third downs, he'll miss passes. And next thing you know, they have to punt it. So I'm with you. I mean, again, they're a team with the talent with, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. That's always going to keep them in games. And Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers in the league right now. So they're like out talenting the bad teams. And I'm with you. What happens when they start playing the good ones? We'll see.
Right. And who the Rams got? Rams, let's see, got coming up after this is Tennessee. That's going to be a big challenge to them. Then San Francisco, then Green Bay. So they have, and then Jacksonville, and then Arizona. So the Rams got the easy schedule, and now they got the hard schedule. Houston, they should cream Houston, but then they got Tennessee, and then 3 weeks later Green Bay, 2 weeks after Arizona. So their challenge is coming up. New England at the Chargers, we discussed that one. I was thinking the upset, but I might have been turned around on that one. What do you think?
I think, again, part of it has so much to do with the talent and being embarrassed in this. Very rarely do good teams get embarrassed and then come back and do a stinker of a game. And the Chargers got embarrassed by Baltimore. But I can go on the other side of the ballot. Last year, Belichick really shut down the Chargers. They really beat them badly last year. But I think Justin Herbert's a year older, and they're, I understand when people say they're at home and it's not really a home game because there's so many other fans there. But let's face it, waking up in your own bed, your own facility, not traveling, that helps regardless of what the crowd looks like.
Right. And then then we got another London game. Jacksonville, Seattle. And I took Seattle on that one. It's at Seattle. Jacksonville's just a bad team. They've just squeaked by Miami, which shows you how bad Miami is. And Washington, Denver, another. I think Denver being a bad team. I took Denver. These are just Tampa Bay, New Orleans. So we discussed that a little bit, and I always like saying Tampa Bay is a little bit overrated.
Yeah, I mean, that Jameis Winston, again, a quarterback. I mean, what are you going to get? I'd lean towards Tampa Bay just because of again, and they don't have Taysom Hill didn't play last week. And that was something that amazed me, too, because on the goal line situations, the announcers were saying about New Orleans, I don't know what they're going to do here without Taysom Hill. And I'm thinking, if you're in red zone situations and all you could think about is how the other quarterback needs to be in there, you got some real trouble with your quarterback who's starting for you. It struck me as very odd to hear that. And I'm not sure if Taysom Hill's playing this week or not. But I'd lean Tampa just because I don't believe much in New Orleans.
Right. Okay, then we got where are we? Dallas, Minnesota. Dallas, that should be a cakewalk for them. In my opinion.
With you.
Dallas is just a strong team, and Minnesota, just they lost to Cleveland. They lost. They had a tough schedule though. They beat Detroit, they beat Carolina, but they lost to Cincinnati, Arizona. They had a tough. Who was that? That's. What has Dallas got coming up? Dallas has got kind of an easy schedule: Minnesota, Denver, Falcons, Chiefs, Raiders, Saints. They got the bad of the East. They got the worst of the East. So they're.
You know, what they have going on is they're sitting like the Patriots were for many years. They're in a division that's lousy, and they're good. So they're just going to have, chalking up wins and getting home field advantages just because of where they're at, what division they're at. So I'm with you. They got pretty much a cakewalk as long as they stay healthy.
Yep. And then we're going to wrap it up with the Giants and Kansas City on Monday Night Football. And this is like a battle of the bands. This is like going from a good Thursday night game to a horrific Sunday night game. So, what do you? I go with Kansas City on this one. I just think it's two bad teams. They're playing at Kansas City. Giants, even though they won, they blew out Carolina, but that says nothing, And,
Kansas City has enough talent that, again, it's one of those, they could be two bad teams, but at least with Kansas City, you got Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce. Their defense, oh my God, their defense is hellacious. And I don't think, but even with the hellacious defense that Kansas City has, do you really think that the Giants are going to be able to make hay against any defense? Shootout wise, great. You can run up some points against Kansas City if you're the Giants, but are you really going to be able to stop them from scoring at home?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. I just think the Giants are nothing. They got so many problems. That's Remy's team, the Giants, but they got so many problems. So that wraps it up. I was going to talk more, but I think we want to get to the game. I was going to discuss Deshaun Watson and him being still in the league and what he's going through. But what a mess that guy is. And then the I don't know if it's hypocrisy with the coach from San Francisco with that, what happened. But I think we're going to save that to next week.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, you'll have that as a topic for at least another few weeks because that situation. I doubt it's going to be. Well, I should take that back because I think you should take a look at what the NFL trading deadline is. I feel like it's within 7 to 10 days. So that might be a topic you want to hit on next week. Because it might not be resolved. It probably won't be resolved by next week.
Why did he not? Did he have dispute with the team, or what's his story?
Oh, Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's got 24 complaints against him by women who say that they he alleged.
I got that. But Houston just doesn't want to play him for that.
Yeah, they're totally. They don't want to play him for two reasons. They don't want to play him because that's ongoing, and they don't want to play him because they want to trade him. So if he gets hurt, I think, and I have a feeling that's one of those commissioner to owner kind of conversations no one knows about that, saying, you know what, don't play him. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to play him. And it keeps the commissioner from having to take action. Because technically, if he was traded today, technically, he could start this Sunday. This is strictly a team decision to sit him. So, but I have a feeling that the league office has said to Houston, we would really love it if you could just not play him. He doesn't want to play for you. You want to keep him as a valuable trade asset, not get hurt. Just sit him down. So I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, just because I want to talk about him and then the coach with what happened to him and if there's hypocrisy. I'm going to save that for next week and, more of a roundtable situation. So, well, Casey, thank you for joining. It's always nice to hear your opinion on things, and thanks for sticking around. And we look forward to next week. And I think this is going to be an interesting week. I don't think it will be as simple picking as it was last week, but we got some good matchups to go. I think the slaughter games of the week, I forgot what it was. I forgot what I picked. Titans at Indiana, I think, could be a slaughter game. And the Cincinnati Jets could be a rough game. And then there was what was another one? Oh, Buffalo, Miami, I think is a slaughter game of the week. So
well,
that's it.
May all your bets be winners.
Right, right. Well, thank you all. Thanks for coming, and I appreciate everybody again. I think it was our third or fourth show, and still working out the kinks to get it. I know people were waiting in the wings in the bullpen. Oh, I wanted to talk about that too. The PETA. I don't know if I took that tweet. I'm going to play it next week. PETA, the People Against Treatment of Animals, or whatever it's called, wants to have baseball change the name of the bullpen because it's insensitive to cows or something. Like, cows aren't watching baseball.
Did you hear what they want to change it to?
To the arm something.
The arm barn.
The arm barn. I mean, cows are not watching baseball, or bulls are not. They don't care. They don't. It's not insensitive. The pitchers aren't thinking they're in a pen and being round up. Every word is so has to be picked on so much that, you know, it's going to be, everything is going to be, there's going to be no dictionary at some point. So it's crazy, but bullpen is going to stay, and PETA should just, and someone made a great point. Shouldn't they be more worried about animal abuse? Shouldn't they be going after that? Which I agree with. So
what I'm picturing is there's a bunch of bulls walking around the stadium with picket signs at the World Series. You know, the bulls walking around. Major League Baseball discriminates against us, and that's bull blank.
Right. That's so crazy. I mean, things are going too far. So, all right, Casey, thanks for that last little roundup, and see you next week. And folks, appreciate you guys all coming on. As always, sorry for the late start. I was on, and I just didn't realize, you know, just learning things as we go. So that's gonna obviously work its way to you know, it's going to work its way in. We're going to get it right. So thank you, and we will see you next week. I'm hoping to try for Wednesday night, so we don't go into Thursday. The World Series will probably be over by then. I don't even know who's winning. I think the Braves won the first game. So I appreciate everybody, and we will see you next week.